Good morning or good afternoon or evening, whenever it is you're looking at this. Hopefully you'll be able to see all of me. Having a bit of difficulties with the camera today. I'm hoping you're all well. I've had a bit of feedback that I was a bit quiet last week, so I switched back to using my phone, hence the reason why the problems with filming. Right, today then I'm just going to do a nice easy pose, easy sequence to get us started and to get us sort of moving. So it's probably more for beginners. I'm trying to limit it to half an hour. Please don't shout if it goes a little bit over, but we'll just get started now. Okay, so if we start off on the floor in a child's pose position, so those of you that don't know, put your knees down, and then you can either take your knees wide apart or you can keep them together, and then just sit your heels back on your knees. You can reach your arms forward then and just stretch out. Okay, I'll show you, but then I'm going to be coming up out of the pose so that you can still hear me. So we're going to, on our knees, I tend to do it with my knees slightly further apart because I have knee issues and I find that a bit more comfortable. Then reach back and then just reach your hands forward, and if you can, just drop your forehead to the floor. If you want to, you can take your hands down to the side. And if your forehead won't reach the floor, you can put your hands underneath, maybe make a little fist. And in that position then, we're just going to slow our breathing down. And we're going to breathe in deeply, feeling the rib cage expand upwards and outwards, at your back and out the side. And then we're going to breathe out. We'll breathe in again for 4. Feeling that rib cage expanding upwards and outwards, and then release. We'll do that one more time. Breathe in, just allowing that rib cage to expand fully, and then breathe out. Now we're going to come on to all fours, so just push yourself up from that position to all fours. Make sure wrists are under your shoulders and knees are under your hips. Spread your fingers out nice and wide so there's a wide base there. And then as you breathe in, you're just going to tip your tailbone upwards and push your chest forwards, taking care not to tilt your head upwards. And then as we breathe out, tuck your tailbone under, push up through your arms, feeling your shoulder blades separate, and take your chin down towards your chest. We'll do that just a few more times. So breathe in, drop your tummy, breathe out, tuck your tailbone under and push up, creating an arch in your back. Breathe in, breathe out. And we'll do that just once more. Now with this next pose, take care, your knees and your thighs need to stay in this right angle, and just walk your hands forward, keeping your knees straight until you can get your forehead down on the floor. For those of you that are ultra flexible, you might want to try and get your chin down. And while you're in that pose, just keep breathing, taking care to keep that right angle there. So we'll hold all of these for maybe 4 breaths. I'll just come back down and join you. Then we're going to push back up to all fours, tuck your toes under, push up, and walk your hands back towards your feet before coming up into a standing position. And then we'll just move towards the front of your mat. Quite a warm day today when I'm filming this, so I'm warming up quite quickly, so I hope If you don't feel warm enough, just maybe repeat those moves a couple more times. Otherwise, stand nice and tall in Tadasana. So I'll show you face on Tadasana, feet planted firmly into the ground, lifting all of your muscles upwards, shoulder blades down, and arms nice and strong. And then we're going to just go into our chair pose. So to do that, just bend backwards as if we're going into a squat, and take your arms up so they're flat and parallel to your ears. Now you've got a couple of choices. If that's too hard, hands on your hips, hands in front, or the hard hands up above like that. And you want to just check you've got that nice V shape there, and again hold it. Remembering to keep breathing, and then we're just going to fold over and take your chest to your thighs, and then as you breathe in, come up to your flat back position. So you lift upwards, and then as we breathe out, you fold back over and plant your hands on the floor. Then we're going to step back in this one to a down dog position. And again, you stay there. I'm just going to explain. If you're down dog position, you're pushing away with your hands and trying to lift up with your tailbone. So you create a really long straight back. And your eyes are looking towards your knees, not behind you. Then just look forward, bend your legs slightly, and step that right leg forward. And put it down and come up into a lunge position. Again, knee stacked above your ankle. You want to increase the toughness. Take your back knee off the floor and push your heel towards the back of the room. When your arms are up, remember you're pulling your shoulder blades down, so that if I turn and face onto you, I'm not a no neck monster. I have got my neck there. Okay, so we'll just go back. Your hands down, put your knee down. Put your left hand against your right foot. Excuse me here, I'm going to be facing away from you. And then, actually let's just turn around. Just put your left hand next to your right foot and reach your right arm up in the air so it creates a straight line. And you're trying to just twist your shoulders backwards. Again, to increase the effort, just take your back knee off and push that heel towards the back of the room. Come down, and from there, step back into your down dog. Right, I'm going to need to turn around again. Okay, so we're back into our down dog. This time we're going to look forward, and we're going to lift our left leg and just bring our left leg through to the front. Put your back knee down and come up into your low lunge. As you're doing this, remember you're trying to keep your hips square. So your right hip should be pulling forward, hip bone, left hip pulling backwards. If you want to increase the effort again, back knee off and push your heel towards the back of the room and just keep breathing. Put that back knee down, bring your right hand alongside your left foot and then reach that left arm up into the air so that you're opening up through your shoulder blade. If you want to increase, lift your back knee off the floor and remember to try and hug your waist into your thigh. Hands down, and again step back into your down dog position. Just hold it there for a little while, remembering to push those hands away and to lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling so you have a nice long spine. Look forward. Step forward with your right foot and then come up to standing to go into Warrior Two pose. So for that one, Virabhadrasana 2, you bend your front leg with your knee over your ankle, your back foot is pointing in maybe 45 degrees, and you're pushing onto the back edge of your foot, and this front foot, that front knee needs to be pushing back towards your little toe. You keep your chest and your hips facing forwards, reach your arms out. If you're prone to lifting your shoulders up, just turn your hands over like that and then turn them back and just stare down at your right hand. With these arms, it should feel like there's real effort involved. You're being pulled. I don't want any wishy-washy arms like that, so nice and strong. This is a warrior pose. Warriors are strong. Remembering to keep that front knee pushed back. And most importantly, keep breathing. From here then, going into our side angle. So for that, take your right elbow onto your right knee and then reach your left arm up and over. The important thing with this is that this right knee should not be supporting your arm. So you should be able to take it away. If you want to, you can take it down towards the floor and you're really feeling the stretch along that left hand side. If that's too hard, just rest on your knee. Nothing at all wrong with that. But we're aiming to be able to support the weight itself. Keep reaching, really feeling the lengthening on that left hand side. And then come back up to Warrior Two position. From there, we're just going to straighten that front leg and maybe bring your back leg in a bit to go into our triangle pose. So arms out to the side, and just to make sure we get the right body position, take your left arm, wrap it behind you, and then stick your left hip out and reach forward with your right hand before tipping down. The reason our arm is behind us is to keep our shoulder blades open, and when we're down, then we reach up, and we're trying to keep our chest open and lifted. It's actually really hard to do this and talk at the same time, So hopefully you're all following. If you can reach down lower. If you can only get to there, that's completely fine. Yoga is all about a personal journey. We're not in competition with anybody. And for those people who say they can't do yoga because they're not flexible, you get flexible by doing it. So just come back up to standing. Oh. Take our hands down. And we'll just turn our feet in and we'll do a little forward bend. So just going to lean, bend from the hips. So we're leaning down with a flat back. Give us a little bit of a hamstring stretch. And as you get down to parallel to the floor, just reach your hands down onto the floor. And then just walk your hands backwards between your legs. If you want to widen your legs apart, you can do. That makes it easier. Because what we're going to try and do is take our forehead down close to the floor. So as we breathe in, just going to lift up onto our fingertips. Breathe out. Trying to fold forward. I'm just going to stand like this and talk to you. So breathe in onto your fingertips. And then breathe out. Fold forward once more, and this time just let your head hang there and feeling that stretch in the back of your hamstrings, and we'll stay there for 4 deep breaths. And then hands on your hips and lift up. I'm really sorry, I know you're going to be able to hear the dogs outside. I don't know whose they are or what they're doing, but I'm guessing they don't like each other. We're now going to repeat that on the opposite side. So we can stay with our feet apart, and this time just turn your left foot out and go into Virabhadrasana 2, which is Warrior 2 position. So again, we're going to bend that front leg. What you're ideally aiming for is to get that thigh parallel to the floor, but like I said earlier, it's not a competition, so if you can only bend it that much, that is completely fine. It's more important to have accurate posture and to look after our joints than it is to try and push into positions we can't do. So we're going to just come down, back foot bending in slightly and the weight on the knife edge of our little toe, and front foot bent and knee being pulled backwards. Sorry, we've got a baby joining in now, but we're practicing yoga, so we'll just blank it all out and focus on how we're feeling and our breathing. So take your hands up, keep your chest facing forwards, your hips facing forwards, and just look down towards your left finger. And while you're there, keep breathing. Breathe in and then out. Breathing in deeply and out. Remembering all the time we're doing this, you can make yoga easy and not feel the benefits by sort of sinking down into things. What you need to do is make sure that you're lifting up through your waist whilst remaining grounded. So it's as if you're being pulled upwards all of the time. And something else I should say, because I noticed I was starting to do it, don't lean forward or back, staying upright like this. Then we're going to come over into our side angle, so left arm onto left knee and reach over. I'm not quite as flexible this way, so we're going to reach over and keep breathing, keep reaching, lengthening out through that right hand side. And again, just check if you can, take your hand away. If you need it to support you there, you keep it there. And we're trying to keep this chest lifted the whole time so that we're going over in a side plane rather than collapsing forward like that. From there then, just going to come up, maybe walk that back foot in a bit, then straighten out that front knee, right hand behind you, stick out your right hip and reach forward with your left hand. And take your hand down to wherever is comfortable, keeping that shoulder pulled back and that chest lifted, and then once you're in position, reach your hand up. So we should have a nice straight line down between our two hands. Again, we are trying to keep that chest lifted backwards. So if I just turn sideways to show you, hopefully I'm not doing it, but we should be like that. I don't want people like that. We're in that kind of an angle. Okay, and from there, we'll just come up to standing. Maybe bring your legs in a little bit, put your hands together, and we're going to go down into a yogic squat. Now I really struggled with these because of my arthritis in my knees, but you're going to put your bum down towards the floor, hands in prayer position, elbows at your knees, and then just push your knees backwards and outwards and breathe. If you can't go all the way down there, and I've done it, but I won't be able to get back up, then you can just stay in that position or use a wall to lean against. So again, there are options. Then from that position, from your squat, if you're squatting low down, you should just be able to go down onto the floor. You're going to sit, bring your heels towards your bum, put your feet together, hold on and sit up nice and tall. And then as we breathe out, we're just going to come forward and push our legs away if we can. Again with this, so with each in-breath, we come up, out-breath, we come forward. And just have a look at what my spine is doing. I'm bending from the hips, so I'm not doing that or leaning over. I'm just reaching my chest forward. And back in. And then final out breath. Then we'll sit our feet out in front of us and come into Dandasana or staff pose. For that, sitting up nice and straight, not like this, not like that. Sitting up straight. If you need to put something under your bum so that your pelvis stays tilted forward, that's great. But we're sitting with a straight back. Our muscles in our legs are engaged and our knees are pulling upwards. And if you have a look at my heels, if you can see them, my toes are pulling backwards, so my heels are actually lifted off the floor. From there then, I'm just going to breathe in and reach upwards, and then as we breathe out, we're going to fold from our waist. It might be you can only go to there, it might be that you can reach down to your toes. If you want to, you could get a belt and just put it around your feet to hold on to. So as we breathe in, going to lift up, breathe out, just see if you can go forward a little bit further. Again, whilst keeping your back straight. Breathe in. Breathe out. Do that one more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. And just let your head drop down towards your knees or your shins and breathe into that stretch. You should be feeling the stretch in your hamstrings and in your lower back there if you're stretching correctly. And then as we breathe out, we're just going to come back up to our seated position. Next one, we're going to go into our staff pose now, just to massage our internal organs and improve our digestion. So we're going to start off, take your right foot over your left leg and then reach the opposite arm around it and hug it in towards your chest. You want to be trying to pull the opposite waist into your thigh. Then as you breathe in, we lift upwards and reach our spine upwards. Breathe out, take that hand behind you and just twist to look over your shoulder. Stay there and keep breathing. With each outward breath, just see if you can twist a little bit more. Pulling that waist closer to the thigh of the opposite leg. This will give your digestive system a nice little massage. So take care of what you're eating. And then we're going to release. Take your leg away. And this time we're going to swap over. So the opposite leg comes over and the opposite arm wraps around. Lift that arm up. As you lift it up, lift your spine. Put your arm behind you as you breathe out and turn to just look over the opposite shoulder. Just turn around so that come back up, put your feet on the floor in front of you. Just going to do a little bit of core work. So sitting up nice and tall. There are a number of ways we can do this. We're going to start off, hold it, put your hands against your legs, feet flat on the floor. You're keeping your chest lifted and your shoulders pulled back. And you're just going to tip backwards until you can feel your core muscles engage there. Okay, this is going into boat position. What I don't want to see are people doing that. You need to keep that chest lifted and those shoulders pulled back. And you should be really feeling it there. And I'll just come back up. If that was enough for you, stay at that one. I'm going to give you a couple of options and work at your level. We're going to be holding it for 5 breaths. If you need to swap between them, please do. So as we breathe in, sit up tall, shoulders back, and then just relax backwards. Make it slightly harder. Take your arms away from your legs. Harder still. Take your legs up. Want to make it harder still, you'll straighten your legs. But I'm doing this in the morning and I'm really not up for that just yet. When you've done your 5 breaths, so when you're ready, put your feet down and then just roll yourself down to a lying position. And with this one, you're going to put your feet flat on the floor, close to your bum, and we're going to be going into a bridge. So as you breathe in, you're just going to tilt up through that pelvic area. I'll just practice like that. So now literally, as we breathe out, we're going to peel our spine off the floor bit by bit and push our hips upwards. Your knees stay tracking towards the front wall. Now to come into a yoga bridge, you want to try and just wriggle onto your shoulder blades. Clasp your hands underneath and push your hands into the floor and your hips further up into the air. So you should feel a stretch across your chest, your knees stay facing forward, and your head should be looking straight up so as not to put any pressure on your spine. And we'll hold it there for a number of breaths. As you breathe in here, you should be able to feel your ribcage expanding in all three directions. Out to the front, out to the back, and also to the side. And then just release your hands. I tend to come up onto my toes and roll down slowly onto the floor. Let your legs go out in front of you. Make them slightly apart. Let your feet drop out to the side. And then just hold, put your hands down at the side into what we call Savasana or corpse position. And just close your eyes down. And control that breathing. Yoga is about more than just exercise. It's about controlling our mind, our thoughts, being able to calm ourselves down, making it useful when we're feeling stressed. So while you're in this position, just going to take some deep breaths in and out. As you breathe in, just want you to feel your belly expanding upwards, followed by your chest. And then breathe out slowly, feeling that belly button pulling towards your spine and your chest emptying of air. Perfect opportunity to refresh some of the air in our lungs. Some of it might have been sat there since you last did yoga. So just close our eyes, make sure your eyes are closed down, and keep that breathing. And while you're there, just focus on how you're feeling. Are there any bits that are still a bit twingy? When you get up, maybe just move around into them a little bit. But also focus on all of the positive things that we have. The fact that you've been able to come to your mat today, brilliant. I know a lot of people are having a hard time of it at the moment, so this time out to take care of yourselves is really, really important. I'll just do 2 more breaths there. And then if we just roll over onto one side and push yourself up to a seated position. And I want you to just take your hands in front of you, clasp them, and then take them up above your head. Right hand down, reach over. Left hand down, reach over. Then hands behind you, and just push that chest forward, feeling collarbone opening up. Take your hands up above, bring them down to your heart centre, and thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that, and namaste. Remember, if you have any questions or any queries about any of the moves, please feel free to get in touch with me. I'd love to hear from some of you. Thank you.